All right, guys. So welcome, Totally Geeked Out with Mark and
Bryson.
episode 3. And yeah, man. So I think we're gonna talk about this Fantastic Four situation. New trailers are dropping, movies coming. This is something that Marvel struggled with. If you've even kind of been a casual participant, a casual fan, you've known we've gone through several iterations of the first family of Marvel, right? So we started off way back with the Jessica Alba Invisible Woman. That's the I think the most standout, and the Chris Evans Johnny Storm, which we
Really good
got to.
Storm. Like, I rewatched those movies. Like, he's really good at Johnny. He's Johnny in that movie. He is not Captain America.
No, and that was before he was Captain America, right? He was
Yeah,
Johnny first. So yeah, either way, and we got to see him again in Deadpool and Wolverine.
was cool. That was cool.
Yeah, it was cool because he was great. He had nothing bad could ever happen to that character. Yeah. So that first version was pretty good. We got Julian McMahon was the Victor Von Doom character, the Doctor Doom character. He's kind of connected to a different part of my viewing circle because he was a character called Cole on a show called Charmed. So if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. The original Charm, not the remake. The original Charm. So yeah, we got two versions. We got a sequel with a very questionable Galactus and a decent looking Silver Surfer, I thought.
As a kid, I liked Galactus in that movie. I just thought it was cool, and I knew what Galactus really was supposed to look like from like video games, from, like Ultimate Alliance, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, go watch them. Go watch those two movies in preparation. And then we got Fan Four Stick.
I like what Josh Trank was trying to do. I like a lot of elements of that movie. I'm a huge Chronicle fan, so I'm biased. But and Miles Teller and Kate Mara and Michael B. Jordan, like I like all of them so much. And I don't know, that movie is just so. I hate that it had to be scuffed the way it was, bro. Like, I hate the way that it had to, like, I don't know, man. They were on to something with that movie. Miles Teller as the maker. That's what we want. That's what we want.
I have very little to say about that movie other than Ben Grimm's kill count was impressive in that movie.
What was it?
It was like 47 confirmed, some number. It was a high number.
That's scary.
It
That
was
version of
scary.
thing running around killing people.
Yeah, living piece of rock. That was the scariest thing for sure. Like, he was a monster. That was the thing. Like,
Yeah.
that was, But anyway, and now we have, I'm sorry. And then we had a brief stop off in Multiverse with John Krasinski's
That was
version
cool.
of Reed Richards. I thought he was really cool. He's been a fan favorite pick for quite some time. I don't know. I would have been happy with him going forward. But obviously, Pedro Pascal is the man. Like, he's got a relationship, with Disney, Marvel, Jesus, whoever.
He's in there. He's locked in.
He's locked in. So, okay. So we're going to rock with this, right? You see the trailer for what's coming for the new Fantastic Four? You see the trailers?
Yeah. I seen, there was actually, I know we're gonna get into this later, but yeah, I've seen the trailer, and there's actually like this little like, Fantastic Four, like intro thing when you go see Captain America. Like, and that was like, I thought it was gonna be like a secret new, like, look at the movie. I was like super hyped. It's just a countdown. It just has like the aesthetic, like the what is it called? Retrofuturism? Like,
Retrofuturism, yeah. Okay, so let's jump into that portion of it.
yeah.
What do you think of, like, just how it looks?
I love the retrofuturism thing. I watched the leaked Comic-Con trailer when it dropped, and it's like, I honestly wish they leaned into it more. I seen some people say that like they're doing it a little bit too much. I think Grace Randolph said that. I love Grace Randolph, but I'm just saying, I like it. I want, like, that was the biggest. That's what I was the most hyped for when it came to like seeing this new world that isn't the MCU. It's like we get to see this whole new, like, we get to see Disney put their budget behind this aesthetic, and I think that's going to be really cool to see. I think our direction is like really cool looking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm old enough to remember the Jetsons, so that's sort of the feel that I get from
What's
it
the
a little
distance?
bit, which is cool. It made me feel a little bit when I first kind of caught on to how they were laying it out. It made me think of WandaVision. I like those first couple of episodes of WandaVision, which had a real different look to it, real different aesthetic to it. So I'm open to it. The cars look pretty cool. The idea that it's taking place in this, alternate timeline, I'm assuming variant, a la the TVA type deal, which also gives them license, anything can happen since it's a variant world. And somehow the FF have to end up in the main Marvel universe, right? They have to end up in the main MCU.
Do you think we see other variants besides, Robert Downey? Do you think we see I seen someone was hoping, we're not going to get this, but someone was hoping for a Spider-Man variant. But what do you?
I wouldn't put anything past it. I don't know about in this movie, but I think when we get to Secret Wars, all bets are off, because that's sort of their opportunity to kind of go ham and then clean it all up, right? If they're going to do a la Crisis type event with these incursions and then clean it all up. I don't know. But yeah, that would be cool. I think it would be a wasted opportunity. I remember, I don't know what site I was on, but someone was basically saying, this is not only alternate timeline, it's also in sort of past timeline, like the 50s or the 60s. So we could absolutely get
an alternate past and not an alternate future. I mean, alternate present is what they're
saying.
Well,
again, we're kind of, I don't know what the year is supposed to be in the world of the FF. But anyway, the guy was basically saying it would be cool if we saw a version of Steve Rogers running around at that time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And maybe Nick Fury, whoever else would have been Peggy Carter. I don't know, whoever. But it doesn't. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get it. And we don't necessarily need any of that. What we need is a good Fantastic Four and a good Doom and let's talk about Doom and a good Galactus, because we've seen other versions that weren't so good. Okay, so what was your take? So what's your take on the you said you like the retrofuturism, but what's your take on as far as the casting? What's your take on the Robert Downey Jr. return situation? Do you think that's a hat trick Marvel can pull off? And then what's your take on your look at Galactus?
So casting for the main four, I like them. I think the only one so for Pedro, I think that's going to be, I like that he's doing this voice. I like that he's doing this whole kind of character. Like if you listen to the first part of that trailer, he's talking about how they all group up every I forgot whatever day.
Every Sunday we're here for dinner or whatever.
Yeah. I like how he has that little that 60s voice, whatever it is. I don't know. I like how he's doing this character, and I'm sold on him. The trailer, I already had confidence in Pedro, but the trailer really made me feel like he's doing that kind of style, and I'm liking it. For the other three, I'm gonna just speak on the thing. I like Invisible Woman. She seems like she's gonna be, she seems like she's gonna be cool. She seems like she's the glue that holds the team together. Johnny, we didn't really get to see that much of Johnny, but I get this feeling that
we got that Johnny, cool that flying the space shot.
That was cool. I mean, character wise, he just he doesn't seem like some overly. He doesn't seem like a hothead though in the trailer. She said it, but he doesn't the two times we've seen him, he looked very shy or vulnerable in space. I don't know. It's just, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. We'll see. The guy, I was just watching him in A Quiet Place day one, and I thought that was pretty cool what he was doing. So that's cool. I think what they got going for Ben Grimm, you know what I'm saying, the thing, I think his voice it has this really nice human element to it, and on top of him just looking like the comic book Thing. So I think there's this really cool balance of this person was really negatively affected, whereas when I'm watching some of the other Fantastic Four content, games, the old movies, it felt more like you turned into a different thing. It didn't feel I don't know, it's the Ben Grimm that's oh, it's clobbering time and has the voice and all that, that just feels more you're a character and you were always that character. You know what I mean? Whereas this is you were a person. You know what I mean? You were a person like all of us, and you got turned into that. That's tough.
Yeah.
So
they definitely, I think this is the best looking version of the Thing that we've ever seen. Obviously, technology plays a big part in that. It should be the best looking version of the thing at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I think Johnny Storm looks fantastic too. The fire effects look good.
It looks good.
We didn't see any stretching. We didn't see any stretching. We saw some invisibility. We saw some force fielding, but we didn't see any stretching. So I guess they're saving that.
Yeah.
And that's one of those effects that can really go. I mean, to be honest, I don't know if I've ever seen live action stretching that looked great.
I mean, I think the live action stretching in the other Fantastic Four movies looked fine. Like I feel like the only things that I was worried about when it comes to like how they're gonna show it in the movie was the Thing, which I really shouldn't have been worried about given Korg and Johnny, and they look good. And Wonder Woman, Invisible Woman was a happy surprise because like I wasn't really look. I think that's really cool. But
Yeah.
I'm not worried about Reed. I think his power is like I don't see how y'all mess that up. Like it has to at least look as good as the last movies.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever. How about the costuming?
I really like it. I think it's really cool. And I think the big question is how are they gonna look when they come over to main universe, sacred timeline? That's the real question. I think the costumes right now look they look great, but I'm okay with them MCU-ifying characters and giving them the MCU costumes, you know what I'm saying, with all the lines. But I know a lot of people don't like that. I know a lot of people are probably going to see those new suits they get, like when they come over to the main timeline and not like it. But for now, I think everybody likes it. I like it. I think it's really cool. I like the aesthetic.
Galactus.
Galactus. There was did you see the Comic-Con trailer?
I don't think so.
You see his face in that. Like you see his eyes.
Yes, I did see it where it's like, but it's like, yeah, it's like galaxies, like he's like somewhat like almost translucent or stars.
I think he was solid. There's like a part where he's looking through a building and like all you can see is like his eyes. And I thought like, and that plus what we seen in the trailer, I mean, he looks, I don't know what they're going to do because how does it work in the comics? Like, because he looks small. He doesn't look like.
He can change his size at will.
Okay, so he's just going to like be small.
Like he'll show up floating through the universe. He's basically the size of a celestial. So like that's too big. Like in terms of when he's eating, like when he's standing on a planet to eat it, he shrinks himself down a little bit so he's not like half off the planet. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he can in the comics he can change his size.
Okay, yeah, because he looked kind of small, and I was worried about that, like, because I figured like.
Well, they had that one shot where they showed you the Statue of Liberty as sort of a frame of reference, and he's bigger than the Statue of Liberty, but correct for the Galactus. If you know from the comics, he's the destroyer of worlds or whatever. He's huge. He's basically the same size as a Celestial.
This is why I don't watch trailers, right? There's something at the end of that trailer. I don't want to jump too far, but there's something that looks like it's destroying the city, at least, if not the world, and it don't look like Galactus. I don't know. Maybe that's like, maybe I need to know more about Galactus's power set, but
his power set is whatever he wants it to be.
Okay.
He's got the power. Think about this. He creates characters on the order of the Silver Surfer.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole concept of Galactus is that he's an essential part of like Marvel's cosmic order, the cosmology. He just in the same way that the Celestials are, like, we see that the Celestials give birth to universes or whatever. Galactus destroys planets that have the capacity to develop sentient life, but it's necessary that he does it within. So he's an antagonistic character, but within the comics, he's not an evil character.
But I thought he was just consuming like power or something. Like there's like a balance thing about that.
There's a whole balance thing about it. The Marvel comics have spent a long time developing their cosmic order, their cosmic hierarchy and how it works, including characters like Death. And there's a character, the Living Tribunal, Eternity, that got butchered. That character's concept got butchered in Love and Thunder. You remember? He's the character that granted the wish in Love and Thunder. It was Eternity.
That goofy dude in the beginning of the movie?
No, at the end, that's the character that they were trying to reach. And you needed So the whole
I don't
concept was,
movie like that.
well, I mean, you know what that
You
is?
know,
That's oftentimes when you go through a traumatic experience, your brain will try to shield itself through amnesia or false memory. So that's what's
Mhm.
happening to you, my
Yeah,
friend, is the trauma that experience of a movie inflicted on you has caused your brain to go into a protective mode. But that's
I
okay.
appreciate my brain for that. Like, I mean, Christian Bale was cool.
Yeah,
He
we're
did,
not even going to go there right now. Like if
yeah.
some other time, maybe if we want to if we just feel like hurting ourselves, we'll talk about that movie. But no, yeah. So the whole concept was he was trying to get Stormbreaker so he could go to eternity at the center of the universe, even though eternity is the embodiment of the universe, and get a wish granted. And eternity is one of these cosmic characters. There's the living tribunal. There's Lord Chaos and Master Order. There are all these different characters. It doesn't necessarily matter, but Galactus is part of that hierarchy. Yes, he does go around and consume planets, but again, similar to the Celestials, there's a higher purpose. As a kid growing up, I was never a big Fantastic Four fan per se. I collected a lot of different comics, so I did have some Fantastic Four comics, but the iconic imagery as a kid is so the Silver Surfer, the Norrin Rad Surfer. We're getting a different version.
Yeah, okay, actually.
Yeah, we're getting, I believe, Shalabal, who I think is Norrin Rad's love interest in the original. You know what I mean? If I'm wrong out there, my old comic book heads correct me, but I believe Shalabal. So the whole idea behind the heralds, right? So Galactus is really, really big. And, he travels around, whatever. So he has like a scout, and this scout is called his herald. And the first herald that we see is Silver Surfer, but he has others throughout the character's history. And the heralds go around searching for a suitable world for Galactus to eat. And the idea is that it has to be a world that either has life or has the capacity to generate life. Maybe he's eating celestial eggs. I don't know. Like from the Eternals, again, I don't know how much of the Eternals backstory you remember.
And the
PTSD, protective shielding, depending on how you felt about that movie. But remember, so the whole idea was there's a celestial egg, and then sentient life develops, and then at some point the celestial you reach a critical mass, and the celestial is born. So maybe Galactus is, eating celestial eggs. I don't know.
so they got that concept fairly correct in the early 2000s Fantastic Four movies, where he shows up, Silver Surfer, so the Rise of the Silver Surfer, you know what I'm talking about?
Rather than Silver. So, yeah, that was a fairly accurate depiction of how it works. Surfer shows up, he rings the dinner bell. Galactus shows up, usually just eats dinner. Earth is special for two reasons. One, Reed is smart, and two, Sue is hot. So in the, in the comic book, and in the early, cartoon adaptations, it's made clear Namor has a thing for Sue Storm too. Yeah, Sue
Yeah, all about
Storm's a
that.
hot little mix. Like, yeah, there's a great panel where Namor makes Sue kiss him, and like,
He
yeah,
makes, I was like hearing people arguing about that on Twitter. He made that happen. It wasn't her choice.
it was like one of those things where it's like, I'll give you the information for the price of a kiss. So it's
Oh,
like,
one of those things. Okay.
yeah, it's like either you fight Namor, who's basically like a Thor level mutant. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Or you let your wife kiss him. And then you see Reed all like, oh, I'm gonna kick your butt, Namor. And then, Sue's all, yeah. Anyway. So Reed is smart. He figures out it's this device. It's a really famous comic book panel. I'm tempted to pull it up, but I'm not gonna. It's Reed holding a device they call Ultimate Nullifier.
Nullifier. Yeah.
It's like can destroy the universe. It's the equivalent of holding a grenade and being like, I'm crazy, I'll kill us all. It's the equivalent of that kind of thing. So he sends Johnny into Galactus' ship. He gets the Ultimate Nullifier. He figures out how it works, and he basically backs Galactus down. And then Galactus comes to sort of respect Reed, and he comes to Earth on several different occasions, and he gets thwarted in several different ways. But in the newer iterations of it, and this might play into the movie because the movie is called Fantastic Four First Steps.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of speculation. So the Fantastic Four have two kids, Valeria
Mm.
and Franklin Richards. Franklin Richards in the comics is an extraordinarily powerful. So mutants are rated in different ways or whatever. So you have like an Omega level mutant, which is
Is
like
he considered a mutant?
in the comics, Franklin Richards is a mutant. Yeah, because he's born with he's born with the powers. Yeah, they tried to do a retcon on it, but I think they're going to dump it. Originally speaking, from when Franklin Richards was first introduced, yeah, so the way it works in Marvel, right? If you are given your powers, like the Fantastic Four, like Spider-Man, like the Hulk, or even Ant-Man, if a radioactive force, if some force acts on you,
Mm-hmm.
a Daredevil even, and changes you and grants you your powers, you're a mutate. You're a mutate. So all of those characters I just named are considered mutates. All right? If for some reason, maybe because your parents were mutates, or just because you have the latent X gene and it gets activated, if you are born with your abilities,
Mm-hmm.
generally speaking, it's because you have what Marvel calls the X gene, and you are a mutant.
But does Franklin Richards have the X gene, or is he
Oh,
just?
again, so comics go through retcons. For more than 25 years of comic book history, yes. For more than 25 years of comic book history, Franklin Richards was a mutant. Recently, and I have to check it out because I'm not deep into comics as I was, but within the last few years, they were trying to run a storyline where he wasn't a mutant, but then they didn't have a real good explanation for his powers. Because again, Marvel has from the comic book standpoint, a pretty standard formula. So for him to not be a mutant, then it's like, well, then where did his powers come from? Well, because his parents were mutates. Well, then he's a mutant. Again, you have 50 years of history establishing how it works. You know what I mean? So anyway, but yeah, so Franklin Richards, again, I'm just going to talk about how it has worked. I don't know what they're going to do in the comics, and there are a couple of different, in the movies. I don't know how they're going to do it in the movies, but the way they did it in the comics, Franklin Richards is beyond Omega level. Omega level is you're already, Scarlet Witch is an Omega level mutant in the comics. Phoenix, like Jean Grey, is an Omega level mutant in the comics. Omega level mutants can do incredible things. Franklin Richards is beyond Omega level in the comic.
Was it Cosmic?
There's no ranking.
Enable?
There's no ranking. There's no rank. It's just beyond Omega. Franklin Richards is so powerful that, again, I'm talking strictly comic book lore. At the heat death end of our universe, there are two beings in existence: Galactus and Franklin Richards. And Galactus is Franklin Richards' herald.
Explain that.
I guess the concept is he's going to go scout in the same way that the Silver Surfer would scout worlds for Galactus. Galactus is going to go scout a new place to make a new multiverse. And Franklin Richards is going to go make a new multiverse.
That's insane.
During one of the crisis style events of Marvel, all of the heroes in the Marvel universe seem to be killed, right? Ragnarok style thing. Everybody dies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Franklin Richards shifted all of the heroes into a pocket universe to keep them alive, and then brought them all back later. So again,
I remember hearing something about that. Yeah.
He's like a god level character, but not in the same way that like Thor is god level. He's god level like how we think about a god.
Yeah, real god levels.
Real god level. So there's some speculation that Galactus is coming because Franklin Richards is being born. Like they sense
okay.
they sense his coming, kind of thing. I've heard some speculation. Why else would you have first steps in the title of the movie, like that double entendre?
Yeah, they've been Fantastic Four for like, it seems like a good while in this movie. Yeah, that's a cool theory.
Right? I'm looking forward to the movie. One way or the other, I'm hopeful that this is going to be the best version of the Fantastic Four that we've ever seen. It's a chance for them to possibly introduce the mutant like properly, not Deadpool style, like properly.
How do you mean?
Right? If Franklin Richards is a mutant, like, and again, we don't know how the FF are getting over
Mm-hmm.
to the main universe, but I think you have an opportunity if, if their world gets destroyed and you're bringing over a reality warping baby to the MCU. And then also, I think we're going to have another reality warper brought back. I think they're going to bring Wanda Maximoff back.
Yeah, definitely.
And again, they wasted so many opportunities, and they even teased at it. But in the comics, Wanda is responsible for depopulating the 99% of the mutants on Earth or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if she can take away the mutants, she can make mutants. We've already seen her make Monica Rambeau. We've seen her grant powers,
Mm-hmm.
right? She granted powers to the character that becomes Spectrum. So anyway, yeah. So I think it's possibilities. I'm just looking at the possibilities. We know the X-Men are coming somehow, and I hope it's not just something as simple as, like what they're gonna. It looks like what they're gonna do to Fantastic Four is, hey, it's a multiverse, and hey, we got some characters from that multiverse. Now, if they do that in Secret Wars, like maybe Secret Wars is a whole bunch of these different worlds colliding,
Mm-hmm.
and then we collapse it down to one back to Sacred Timeline, and everybody's on, who survives is on the Sacred Timeline. I mean, I don't know, but I think there's a reason it's called First Steps. I'm willing to bet Franklin Richards as either an infant or as an unborn child. I think he's going to play some kind of role. And then the other child, who I don't know if they're going to involve, is Valeria. And in a lot of incarnations, Valeria actually is raised by or connected to Doom. So a lot of times you actually meet Valeria von Doom.
Interesting.
Doom has become a lot more of an anti-hero than a straight villain in the comics anyway.
What do you think of the Silver Surfer casting?
I mean, I'll be honest and say I would have just gone with Norrin Rad, personally. I would have gone with the classic version of the Silver Surfer. I don't.
I think the Sacred Timeline is going to have, I think, based off what we've seen with Lakeith, like what he said on Instagram or whatever and Twitter, I think he's going to be the mainline Silver Surfer. And old girl, I like her. She, Ozark.
I think those are confusing decisions. I don't understand decisions like that when you have the opportunity to unify and you choose instead to sow confusion at a time when you already have so much content that you have. For casual fans, I don't mind. Like, I know who Shalabal is.
Mm-hmm.
Most people do not. And it's just going to be confusing if they're two surfers. Not my monkey, not my zoo. So I hope that it's great. I do hope that it's great. They still got to resolve Kang. I hope, getting rid of, since that's the direction that they chose to go based on everything that happened, getting rid of Kang and making, if Doom is going to be the new Thanos, which is apparently the direction that they're trying to go, he's the Kang was going to be the Thanos level threat. Now, Doom is a Thanos level threat. Galactus is at least, for Earth, a Thanos level threat, if not, you know what I mean? Like, he's
I
definitely
don't think we see Galactus outside of this movie. This
You don't think
Fantastic
so?
Four movie. No. I think he's going to do whatever he does in this movie, and then that's going to be that.
What about well, okay. I mean, and that's fair. Like, he's definitely a plot device level type character. Unless we see him in Eternals too, if that
That's not
ever
happening.
happens. You know
That's
what
not happening. No. I mean, like, I don't even think it's that bad. It's just like it did terrible. And
Daredevil Reborn coming, looking fantastic, I think.
Is that March or is that February? That's March, right?
I think it's March. We'll double. I don't want to say wrong. We'll double check
Yeah.
and confirm next time we come around. But yeah, so we're definitely going to get what looks like possibly a return of the Defenders, at least Frank Castle.
Yeah. I don't see them. It would be cool to see some like cameos, but I think that's going to be the extent of it.
You don't think I've heard Ritter talk about Jessica Jones, her returning as Jessica Jones
cameo.
I don't know about culture. I think Luke Cage might be a little bit hard to get just because I've heard he's, a little bit busy. But
I expect cameos, and that's it. I think we'll get like one Defender in the new Daredevil show. Maybe, hopefully, Luke will be cool. Honestly, I don't care which one they choose. I like all of them pretty equally. But I think like cameos. And then of course Punisher. You know what I'm saying? Punisher, of course.
If you're gonna do Secret Wars and include the shows, like the characters from the shows, which I think they should, I think that's where you can do your handoffs. That's where you can that's where you can like say, you can hand off if you're gonna if it's Riri Williams, if Riri Williams is really gonna be the new, that's where you can do it. If Kate Bishop is really, if Elena is really the new Black Widow, like
maybe they have secret teams. I mean, not secret teams, separate teams. Like maybe in the new Avengers movie, we'll have a team that is like whatever team that Sam puts together, right? The new Captain America built team. And then on top of that, you have like some of the people that were kind of like not in that team and like offline. So you have like, I'm thinking like Spider-Man, you know what I'm saying? You put the kids over there. You know what I'm saying? The kids that didn't get invited to be on the big boy team.
We have
they're like
the Young Avengers concept. So you got Wicked and Speed, you got Kate Bishop, you got Riri. They're a bunch of characters who kind of exist. You even have that weird Thor daughter. Again, you probably don't remember.
Oh yeah. I remember.
It's so traumatic.
A little bit. I remember that.
I don't want to hurt you again.
I don't remember what she looks like at all. I just remember that there was that happened to whatever extent it happened.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. So Marvel, please do right. That's all we're gonna say, because we want you to win. You win, we win. We let's all win together. Sony,
my boys, but y'all. Yo, Mark, one last question before we head out. Have you seen the Spider-Man show, the new animated Spider-Man thing?
I have not. It's on my radar. The animation style kind of threw me off a little bit. I'm not saying they look horrible. It just
it's nasty. I ain't gonna lie to you. The art style is cool. Like the way it looks when you pause it and look at it is cool, but in motion.
So have you watched it?
I've seen the first 2 episodes of it, and it was like
yeah, okay. I mean, in Invincible season 3 could wash that taste out of your mouth. Maybe. Okay, guys. On that note, I will watch it. I'll watch at least the first couple episodes of it, though, just so that we can. And I also want to watch a little bit more of the new Superman show. I didn't even watch the Batman show that came on Amazon.
That was cool.
Yeah,
that was
good
cool.
things about that. The Cape Crusader.
And I think that's what this Spider-Man show is supposed to be. It's supposed to be like that, where it's like it's different and it does all these cool different things. There's like the Spider-Man show is like it's different, but it also wants to be like alternate universe Tom Holland. So it's like there's like, for instance, like there's like one scene I could think of that's like word for word, shot for shot, a scene that Tom Holland was in. But then there's stuff where it's like we want to be completely different. It's like, or just be different or be a variant. Nah. The balance ain't doing it for me. But it's
got you. Last thing, I know we got to get off momentarily, so we didn't get into this at all, and I haven't seen it yet. Bryson has. So I'm probably going to maybe go see it tonight so that we can talk about this properly. But just 20-second, no spoiler, overall reaction, Captain America Brave New World. Again, I have not seen it. I'll see it tonight, and we're going to do a whole episode on this.
Real quick.
I know you saw it. I know so close out with give the people something. Give the people something. Give the people something.
Okay. Have you seen Extraction?
Yeah, with Chris Hemsworth, that Netflix business. Yeah, like I saw the first one.
Cool action.
Do
you remember the story?
Chrissy Hemi was a bad boy of badness with skills of badnesses, but he was like sad boy. I don't remember why he was sad boy. But then they were like, go be a bad boy, sad boy. And he was like, bet. And then he went, and then he was bad, and then he wasn't that sad. But then he had to fight another bad boy,
Mm-hmm.
and then like he got hurt and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it.
Cap-
I mean, what? Where's the lie?
Captain America is really cool action on top of like a so-so mid whatever story. It's like your typical action movie. It's like it's not special. I think they should have put it on Disney Plus. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like it would have felt cool over there. Like it's not bad. It's just it's not that. But I'm happy that it's in the theaters because I want Anthony Mackie to be seen. Like he's a good Captain America. And the crazy part about it is I like him as Captain America. I think he was really good as Captain America in this movie, but he's still in this movie saying shit like, Steve shouldn't have gave me the shield. I don't know if I can be Captain America. Bro, we just had a whole show of you going through that. It's over with, bro. I'm not trying to hear you don't know if you should be like, bro, remember in the trailer when President Ross is saying, you're not Steve Rogers, and he's like, you're right. I'm not. Right? That shit's not in the movie. That shit's not, it's not in the movie. It's cut. Like, it's cut. Like, bro, what? Like, that was like that. That's the energy I'm trying to see. And it's like, bro, I don't want to spoil it. There's a lot of cool things with how he fights and how he does things. But just know, like, he's that nigga in the movie. But he don't feel like he is. And it's like,
he doesn't believe in himself?
No. Why do you not believe in yourself? Like he believes, like, to an extent, bro. It's like, I don't know. And I think the villain was cool. They didn't, that's the, oh, yeah.
Oh, and that's Giancarlo Esposito, right? Gus from Breaking Bad.
I'm talking about the villain that they didn't show you. The villain that you don't know.
Spoil it. Don't you dare, sir.
You in the
I
trailers.
Want you stop the things you're doing now. Stop them right now. You stop.
It was in the trailer a little bit, but you had to you had to catch it. But yeah, like that was cool. But for the most part, I'm not gonna lie to you. I wouldn't tell anybody to go pay to see this movie if you've seen the trailers, because unless you just really love the trailers, because the trailers was
I'm gonna see it anyway. I'm gonna go throw away some money.
I think you should see it because you have to talk about it.
So yeah, I'm gonna eat some popcorn. In fact, let's come back. Let's come back next time. Let's do episode 4 on Captain America on the Brave New World situation, because Winter Soldier was my favorite Marvel movie.
It's more like Winter Soldier than anything else. I can say that right now.
I mean, that would be a good thing for me, but it doesn't have Scarlett Johansson. It doesn't have Chris Evans. It doesn't have.
Does it have Scarlett Johansson? It doesn't.
You're a bad person. You know that?
That's my fault. That's my fault.
All right, guys.
You're going to be happy. I think if you like Winter Soldier a lot, I think you're either going to like this movie or you're going to be really disappointed. I don't even know. I don't know where it even falls.
Okay. Well, we'll get a little bit more in depth into the Brave New World next time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think there's some new Thunderbolts trailers out as well since the last time we talked about it. So we'll see if we can get into that as well.
Yeah. They forced me to watch the trailer in the movie theater. So yeah, basically, like this big old screen I gotta watch.
All right, guys. Well, this has been another episode of Totally Geeked Out, the show. Our third episode. Thank you for sticking around with us. And we're going to see you soon. So signing off, this is Mark.
This is Bryson.
And we'll see you guys next time.